Audio connected.
Can you see me?
I can see you. I can see that your name is currently Megan. Con-
Yeah, sorry.
Congratulations on the name change. I know
Oh yeah,
it's a
I
tough
know.
process, but
A lot of things can happen in 10 years.
you
Chiefly, what cannot happen is me deciding to buy a webcam. So I'm more like, how are you? I guess we got to get started, right?
yeah, we got to get started. That means that we got to drop a theme song in here, and
Okay.
then I edited in the theme song, and then the video has me talking over it.
Okay.
Um, Instead, because it's fun to just have a little bit that audio only people don't get to see, and
hmm
it's a fun back and forth. But anyways, the theme song ends, and I say hello and welcome to Hello We Don't Talk, Let's Talk, the show where I, Christopher Hua, reconnect with old friends. And today we have the classic man himself, Mr. Peter Murray,
Man,
the classic man. That's all I could think of when I think Peter Murray.
is it? Yeah. Okay. Is this the part where I say like, that was a great song choice, intro song choice. I didn't know you're such a big fan of the Spice Girls, but
Oh yeah,
here we are. Yeah,
it's going
yeah.
to be a special edition where that is indeed the remix that
That's the
plays.
special. See, now you have to make it the Spice Girls.
Yeah,
You,
you've pimped me into it,
that's what I
and
did.
I have
That's
no
what I did.
way out. You've
I'm mixing it up. Yeah.
Well, looks like I gotta add a note to this one. But Peter, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me today. I'm good. Good. Pretty good. It's really gray outside. Kind of shitty, but
Yeah, it's been a gray couple of days for sure in the
yeah.
region. Are you still in Kitchener area?
Oh yeah. Never leaving.
Hell yeah, my man. Um,
Yeah. I from some of your previous podcasts, I know you were saying that a lot. You're like, yeah, I love this place. I want to leave, and I'm like, yeah, ditto. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't born here, but I was raised here, and I don't know. I'm not a I don't like going to a massive big city. I can't think of like living in
Mhm.
Toronto, but so that's why this place is pretty solid.
Now, from my understanding, you were born in Peterborough, and they named the city after you, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly
Perfect.
right. Yeah, I like how we're pimping each other into like things as we go along. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely raised in Peterborough, and then they changed the name to Ottawa after I was born, because yeah,
Because you weren't there anymore, right?
I wasn't
Like you
there
left,
anymore.
and they're just
Once
like,
I moved,
well,
they're like, yeah,
this is
okay, it's
just
hard to get the
weird.
name back. Yeah.
I didn't even do this when I had my improv friends on, by the way. This is a good energy. I like it.
Oh yeah, it's good, 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 good. Yeah, I heard you did improv. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Now, you had mentioned that a lot can change in 10 years, but of course, we had seen each other even more recently than that.
Yeah.
Because you worked at where I currently work, which is an insurance company that I don't feel like naming right now.
Even though you named them previously. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure. We're gonna make
yeah,
people dig.
that's true.
Listen, this is
Yeah.
gonna be the episode with the most work for any listener participant of all
Yeah.
time.
Almost. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Alexia did all the research ahead of time, and I'm just kind of winging
Oh,
it. But
that was prep. This episode is the homework episode.
this is a homework episode. It
Yeah.
all comes afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, you haven't run into some of the other people you've spoken to in like maybe 10 years or so, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that was only like what 5 years ago, maybe.
Uh, I think like 2016, 2017. So like
Maybe like
2016, winter of
yeah,
2016 is when I got hired, and I think you were like out of there like the year after.
I really was. Yeah. No, I worked there for about 2 years, but I basically did the customer service like call center
Yeah.
thing. And I mean, I'm sure you have some idea because you're doing what are you doing? You're like analyzing, judging,
I'm an examiner right
deciding who's
now.
worthy.
I'm an examiner, and
Yeah.
I'll send out the little tokens that say these are the docs we need to the client,
Mhm.
and then the tokens are not specifically worded enough, so
Nope.
they'll send me documents that I don't want them to send, but I
Yep.
can't. I as an examiner cannot contact them directly. They have to like call into us, and then
Yep.
a person in your former
That's where I
position
came in.
would have had to relay why what they sent in was wrong,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And it was
apologize
all
because our system is just like,
apologize profusely, constantly apologizing. Yep. I became a very humble person over that.
oh
Uh,
yeah, you
was
you
that
have to. You,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't have pride going into that, otherwise that's just it's a bad experience for everyone.
Oh yeah, and like because I had to navigate all the weird uh, undetailed notes on that extremely antiquated system.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I could read like any doctor's handwriting at this point. I'm assuming that's like a similar skill, being able to decipher impossible messages. But yeah, that was a crazy job, man. Yeah, definitely wasn't something for the long term for me. But yeah, that was more
Yeah, it
because
it
you
just
know
seems stressful.
it definitely was. I liked it for a bit. Yeah, I guess we you kind of want to go over like what's happened in the past 10 years. So I guess we can talk about it like first starting from like a working perspective
Well,
because I
yeah,
feel
we
like
could
that's
we
a
could
lot
just
to
hop
cover.
all over the place. We don't need to keep to a timeline. Time
Sure,
is a wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
it's irrelevant. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so like before that, I worked a couple of co-op jobs through school. I graduated in 2015, so I had like a 5-year program. I was actually in the same program as Nolan.
Ah.
Um, and yeah, so basically near the end, I got a co-op job at a student housing company, which I will not name. Yeah, that was okay. It was pretty good for a while, but I wanted to kind of just boost my income a little bit, as you would. And at that time, I was just like, okay, I've got customer service experience. I'll just see what's the next tier up. So
Mhm.
that
What's
was,
available in town?
yeah,
Hit
yeah.
up Indeed,
So
Monster, whatever.
exactly, and then yeah, basically went from there to the insurance company. So I worked there for about 2 years. I did that customer service stuff, and then that started to take like a huge toll on me. So I was like, okay, I gotta get out of here. Um, and actually, yeah, I straight up left that without a plan
Mhm.
and just kind of chilled a bit for a couple of months, and then basically did some like temporary work just to kind of figure things out. And I was also I looked at my resume and I was like, oh, this is all customer service. I'm not sure if I really want to do this anymore. So
Mhm.
I basically just kind of worked in some offices, did a bit of like data work and, spreadsheets, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, basically I managed to get a job at an even larger insurance company, which, look at my
We'll
LinkedIn
continue to not name.
information. Yeah,
Again, more homework for everyone.
exactly. I want everyone to do their homework. And yeah, that was pretty good. I worked there for about 2 years up until near the end of last year, and then basically they cut like a large department that I was in, the whole
Mm,
department. So I was just like,
that's unfortunate.
yeah, I had to go. So I was just kind of chilling until basically the pandemic started. And then partway through the pandemic, I got a new job, which I'm doing now, and I started that in May. That's for I'll just say it. It's for Apply Board, which is that like you might have
Oh
heard of
yeah,
it in
yeah.
the news.
I've seen
Yeah,
the LinkedIn notifications that Applyboard is hiring.
yeah, they did a lot of hiring, so they grabbed me up, and basically like the easiest way I could describe what I do right now is like an admissions guy, basically. So like
Mhm.
people will send in their applications, and then I just kind of I'm basically like you, but for school instead of insurance. So yeah,
just clearing everybody to make sure that you're not getting some undesirables essentially.
yeah, yeah. Like the people who are like, I definitely speak English fluently, and then their tests all say ones, or they give us a test, and we're like, okay, maybe not you. I don't know, but yeah. So that's basically it in terms of like work. But that's not exciting. Nobody wants to hear about that. Uh, I've done some other stuff. I got married, of course. I
Yeah,
guess I
of
should mention
course.
that. I'm sure you want to watch this afterwards, so I better
One
be
of the
honest.
only people I know who's like wives I've met before. um,
Yeah, I was talking to her about this once I found out about this podcast. So
and she
like,
was like, "Who's Chris?"
yeah, yeah. Well, Chika told me I went out for like drinks with him and his boyfriend, and he told me about this podcast, and I was like, no shit, really? So I looked it up, and I have definitely watched like every Cameron Person's interview
Yeah.
just to see where everybody's at. So that's cool. But yeah, I was telling Meg about it, and she was like, no, I've met Chris, and I was like, really? Wow. And so she has like an impeccable memory.
Yeah,
One of the
you
perks of being married
you
is
two
that
have been going steady for a while.
A while, yeah. And one of the perks of being married is that I don't have to remember things anymore. Uh, she remembers it all. So she told me that apparently she met you at like a party at one of Cheka's townhouses, many
Yep.
townhouses. And it was like the first time that she played Cards Against Humanity. That's what she said.
Sounds probable.
Yeah.
And then I think there was also a time where we went out to breakfast. That stands out in my mind for some reason.
Breakfast. When was that? Do you even remember?
I have no idea.
I'll have to. I mean,
It was
maybe.
either I think it may have been just like the morning after a party because I can't think of any reason why I would have been like up in that area of Waterloo in the morning and like ready to
Yeah.
go to breakfast.
And like, let's be real. I don't really go out for brunch unless it follows a night of partying and
Yeah,
drinking. It's
exactly.
standard. So.
But
Mm.
yeah, she's like the hard drive near the you're just the random access memory then.
Yeah, it's
Teamwork.
all random. It's all random. Yeah, I was trying to think about like, because previous people you've had on, they were like, "Oh yeah, I definitely did this in this year," and I was like, I don't remember what I did,
Just
where I did, when.
yeah, it's
So
all just kind of a blur.
I like legit had to go onto my Instagram and like scroll through to figure out like the timeline of like what I've done. That's interesting anyway. So yeah, I think summing it up, I've been to New York a couple times. One was with like Cheka, Akram, Amber.
That may be the trip that Checo was forgetting about because when I talked to him the other day, he mentioned that he had gone on like 3 vacations. One was to like South America. I want to say Cuba or Mexico, one of the two. And then he went out to China, and then like he had no recollection of what
Okay,
the third location was.
I don't wanna throw him under the bus, but one of those trips that he went on that he forgot was one with me.
Oh dear.
So yeah, no, yeah. So there was that New York trip. I'm sure he probably should have mentioned it too, but it was a long time ago. That
Mhm.
was like while we were in university still. Uh,
Gotcha.
and then I went there again another time with Meg and also a couple of her friends that I met through her.
Mhm.
Uh, she and I went to Nashville together as well, which was pretty cool. Drove all the way down. I don't recommend that because Ohio is like half of the drive,
Oh
and
wow.
it's like a wasteland. Like if you picture a classic American wasteland, it's like there's no grass, it's just all pavement, and there's
Oh
occasionally
god.
like a dead car or like a burst tire on the side of the road. Um, yeah,
Makes Saskatchewan driving through Saskatchewan feel like a dream.
yeah, like at least Saskatchewan has some greenery, Jesus. But yeah, and that was fun. We just randomly decided to go down there, and it was funny because the next like the way we came back, we drove up the same way, but we decided to stay the night in Cincinnati to break up the drive. And so we decided to go to a Chili's just to like experience the office experience. And then from there we took an Uber back to our hotel from that restaurant, and the Uber driver was telling us about how in Cincinnati people will like shoot up and then just like go speeding on the highway, and we were like, holy shit, I'm so glad I'm not driving through Ohio at night.
Jesus.
So I
That's
know, I'm
that
just
that
really trying to tell you not to drive in Ohio, okay,
that's what
because
freedom gets you, man.
freedom, yeah, yeah. I want to feel that speed while speeding.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and that was fun. On the way back, actually, so we were in Nashville the night of the U.S. election, and we didn't even
That's
know.
fun.
Yeah, we were there for her birthday, and basically the next, like that
Just
night,
kind of coincided with
we had no idea. Like we just were going there for her birthday. That was the plan, and then we'd get
mhm.
there, and everyone like it was just tense. The whole city was tense, and Nashville's like a blue city in like a
Yeah.
red state, and so we're just like hanging out, and then some people were talking about the election and stuff, and we're like, oh shit, that is tonight. So yeah, we watched that at night, and then basically we're just like, oh fuck this, I'm going to sleep and like just enjoy my vacation. But yeah, we went to like some kind of super like hipster brunch place in the morning, and
Mhm.
everybody was like so just like
Just depressed.
depressed. And some guy at the counter was like, "What's your accent?" And we were like, "Oh, we're from Canada." And he's like, "Can you take me with you?" I was like, "No, sorry, bro, we can't."
the
because so we were actually on the way back going to pick up our new puppy at the time.
Ooh,
So we like really just looped a lot of stuff in this trip.
yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking so much
Just
about the trip,
just
but
pounding it all out in one go
exactly.
so that you never have to go back to America.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sorry, man, we can't go back because we're picking up our new puppy. So we can't take you with us. So he was like, okay, I can't go to Canada and I can't see a new puppy. Well, it's got so much worse. Yeah, other than that trip, I've been to Europe a couple times. Went once by myself just to hang out with Sam, and then
Classic Whitblood.
oh yeah, you got to get him on
I
this.
gotta get him on. I
Yeah,
gotta navigate a time zone difference, but we can make it work for
he
sure.
can manage. I'm sure. Yeah, he's done a lot of interesting stuff, and that was fun. We just hung out, and then I've been to Europe again a second time. This time with Meg to also visit Sam again, and both times we kind of did like the Netherlands, Belgium, and like um, this the first time I went with him into Germany for a little bit,
Mhm.
and that was interesting. Germany's a funny place because there's like some people who really like speaking English and talking to English speaking people, and there's some
Mhm.
people who really hate English speaking people. And we were like
So it's like
drinking.
Quebec.
Yeah, exactly. Like Quebec, but there's like no World War II background, or maybe
Yeah.
there was, I don't know. But yeah, and like we were drinking out of beer garden, and we left it basically, and we were just like getting ready to go back on the train, and we were just talking to each other in English, and then these German guys were just like sloshed outside the front door, and they were like, English, and we were like, yeah, and they just looked at us and they went, fuck Churchill. And we're like, okay, yeah, fuck Churchill. It was crazy.
Nice.
Then the second time that we went to Europe, Meg and I just went off to Paris as well, which is fun. That was the first time I went to France and Paris, which was really cool. Saw the Moulin Rouge and all of that stuff, so that was
Fancy.
pretty wild. Yeah. And other than that, oh yeah, so here's the trip that Jacob forgot to tell you about that
Sure.
he totally
Go
should
for
have
it.
remembered because it's the most recent one. Went to Iceland.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah,
I think I've seen photos of that one.
yeah, I went to Iceland
Yeah.
with Akram and Cheka, and then also one of our university friends, Joanne. I'm not sure if you met, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of
Met
fun.
Joanne.
Yep, yeah, that was a great time. And then yeah, the last most recent place I've been to was after I got married. Our honeymoon was in California, so we went to like San Francisco. We went to like Napa Valley, Yosemite, where there were active wildfires happening. We still decided to just drive through some
Oh wow.
smoke.
That's a bold choice.
It was. We didn't know. Again, we really should do more research before we travel to the United States. At least I've decided that from the
Nah,
future.
just off the cuff everything.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it's
Planning
fun.
is a sucker's game.
It
Also,
is.
don't buy travel insurance.
Yeah. Don't buy travel insurance. See, it's weird because it's like after working there, I totally was like, I really should buy travel insurance, but just the basic package. Like,
Yeah.
and then just be careful, you know. But yeah, that was interesting. We like were having breakfast in this hotel there, and the guy was like, "Yeah, so there's smoke, there's wildfires just like 40 kilometers away, 40 miles away or whatever," and everyone else was super chill, so we just decided to stay chill as well. That was a,
It's
we
like
just thought
that.
that's
It's like that
fun,
meme with the dog in the house on fire. It's just like this is fine. Everything is
fine,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's basically all the trips I've done. Maybe it's probably an average amount of trips compared to some other people, but I'm pretty happy with it.
That is an exceptional number of trips, I will say. But this coming from a guy who rarely goes outside.
Really go
But
this time.
it is amazing that anybody has like the capability of just like taking a vacation.
Mm. Well, yeah, it kind of fell, you know, in place pretty nicely a couple of
Mhm.
different times, just because I either had like a lot of vacation time or like I just straight up wasn't working. Like
Yeah.
for like the honeymoon, for example, I like wasn't working at that time, which worked out because like I had to do all the like last minute driving around and planning and all of that stuff for the wedding. So I was glad I didn't have to work during that time. And then yeah, we just went off to California for like 2 weeks, so that was pretty solid.
Radical.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of the traveling stuff.
Did you
Yeah.
have any plans for this year that got thwarted by COVID?
Uh, Sort of. So we had a couple of things on the go. There were a couple of weddings that we would have attended but didn't. And one of those weddings we were thinking of bunching together into a trip as well. So we were thinking, basically, Meg has this coworker who's from India,
Mhm.
and they were going to get married in India, and she invited everyone, and like everyone she knows. And we were like, you know what? Let's go. Let's fucking go, right? Like,
Oh
why
yeah,
why wouldn't we? And then yeah, that didn't happen.
yeah.
But, yeah, no, that would have been interesting. I've never been out there. I've been to other places in Asia when I was a lot younger, like pre Cameron for sure. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've never been there, so that would have been cool.
Are there places that you are very much like wanting to go to once travel opens back up?
Oh God, yeah, I do really want to go. So we've been planning some other stuff. Just and when we say planning, just like picturing ourselves
Mhm.
there.
Just
Uh,
throwing it out there, putting it on the back burner, just feel like,
just
hey, remember when we said this?
casting a line out to the universe, hoping it gives back a sweet little trip. Yeah, so I think one of the places we were thinking of going to was Morocco, which
Ooh.
would have been interesting. Yeah, my parents went there once and they sort of liked it. I think because they're more like Paris people, and I feel like if you're a only Paris person, then you're probably not going to like Morocco.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I would love it. Like I would love to go there, and you can get really cool like palace hotel type things for super cheap.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I've had a lot of claims of people who want to go to Casablanca, and I'm just like, oh, these places look lovely.
Too bad you couldn't
Joe.
go.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, this is like bringing back PTSD from working there. Yeah, and then another place was oh yeah, Peru. We were thinking of going to
Hmm.
Peru, checking out like Machu Picchu and places like that, like up on the mountains.
I know Akram went there about a year or two ago. Have you asked him for his thoughts on his trip and any advice?
No, we haven't. I actually
He's
I
a he's
totally
a
forgot.
he's a good resource.
The thing is, he's such a good resource, but he also travels to so many places that I forget where he's traveled. Because again, my brain doesn't remember things
Yeah.
anymore.
The
Uh,
cache is cleared.
it is, yeah, and it's permanently cleared. Yeah, it's more like a, let's go super nerdy with it, but it's more like an S like a what is it? SDD? What's the thing? It's not HDD. It's the fast
SSD,
one.
SSD.
SSD. Jesus.
Let's go
See,
super nerdy, and
see,
then just like fails the
right there. It
reference.
totally failed. Maybe I'm not as nerdy as I thought.
The listeners are going to eat you alive for that one,
They are
Peter.
gonna eat me alive. Oh man, I'm gonna hear a lot about this afterwards. But yeah, it's like slowly defragmenting and just like not coming back. Yeah,
Solid analogy work.
but yeah, no, I should reach out to him. It's been weird. Like the pandemic, um, even though like we had a lot of opportunities at the beginning to do a lot of like video chats, and we definitely did like
Mhm.
big group chats. But yeah, that kind of like really died off. I guess people just kind of got sick of doing video
Yeah,
calls.
and especially as like workplaces starting embracing like online video meetings more, it just became like, well, I was already in a Zoom call for work today, and it's
Yeah.
just I don't want to do more of those, so I'm just gonna bow out and see you guys
Oh,
later.
it's yeah. Like this is obviously different because we're like just chatting, having a good time.
Mhm.
But, like yeah, doing Zoom calls at work is I can do like one like stand up in the morning or something like that, but
Yeah.
like having to sit through like an hour long one sometimes it just like drain afterwards. I have to like go and like drink another coffee at like 4 p.m. It's not good for me. But
your
yeah,
your
yeah.
sleep cycle is suffering.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the weird thing too. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, we were like, "Oh, this is great! Like, I'll just like spend every day working out and like improving myself and eating really healthy, and we'll like go for walks in the neighborhood, but not like travel anywhere."
Mhm.
Then instead, we became like the snacker archetype, where we just like spent half of our income available on just like bags of chips and just ate those chips while watching like Trudeau briefings every morning,
Yeah,
like an addict.
just the news.
Just the news in general. Like, yeah, we had to turn that off after a while because that got a bit much as
Oh
well.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, still though, I'd say we're doing pretty good. All things considered, getting a little stir crazy though, for sure. Luckily though, I've been able to get away. So in this like 10-year stint,
Mhm.
Megan's dad owns a trailer, and his mother, Megan's grandmother, owned the trailer right next to it in this like kind of really nice sort of. It's like a trailer park, but it's like a cottagey trailer
Yeah,
park instead of like a
not like
not,
the trashy
not the
place.
trailer park boys. Yes, no, that's specifically out east. No, but yeah, yeah. So basically, her nana basically handed it down to us, and it was in really rough shape
Mhm.
when we took it over, and we thought, okay, this would be cool. We could like have our own trailer, our own little like cottage getaway. There's like a little
Mhm.
lake and stuff, so it's kind of nice. And then we thought, okay, yeah, we'll just go in, we'll get rid of all the old furniture and slap like a fresh coat of paint on it or something.
Mhm.
And then
Spruce
walking,
her up a bit.
yeah, and then walking around on the floors, they were squishy under my feet. So basically, it been a gut job, and I've literally been working on it all summer and
Mhm.
spring, and also last year on the
Wow,
trailer. So
a
we're like
multi-year project.
renovating a trailer right now. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So that's like the big thing, and that's been interesting. I've been learning a lot. I heard that like Marco builds houses or something, and you
Yep,
live in one that he built.
indeed.
Is
Uh,
it built or renovated?
it's basically he bought out the house, gutted it, and then basically just like set up the designs and
Yeah,
had like contractors and stuff do the messy work. But
solid. That's cool.
you doing your own work on that trailer
I'm
is a
doing
new
my own.
level that
Yeah,
I can truly respect.
it's pretty weird. Yeah, I never thought that I would be like
A
okay at this,
handyman.
but I'm like vaguely okay at it. I'm okay at like doing the basic wood stuff, but I can't.
Mhm.
I'm not like gonna bother with electronics or whatever, because I don't want to die prematurely. Although sometimes I feel like I do. Yeah, no, that's been interesting. Basically, once we found the floors were squishy, I had to like rip up all the floor. I
Mhm.
decided, and the subfloor, and they had like old vinyl floor glued onto wooden floor, and I don't know why they built things the way they did back in the 70s, but
Basically, just
yeah,
reduce everything to the shell of the trailer and then
yeah,
work your
it's
way work
skeleton.
your way in.
It's yeah. There was one point just even a couple of weeks ago where I started to take some of the ceiling paneling down,
Mhm.
and like thousands of ants fell
God
on
damn,
me on the floor, and they were alive, they weren't dead. So
of
that was,
course.
I had to commit like an ant genocide with the shop vac, so that was pretty terrifying.
How are you with insects in general when that moment occurred? Were you just
I
like
was okay. I
okay.
was okay. I think I yeah. Again, I feel like this will be another reason why I might have PTSD later on in my life. But like, I sort of took it really calmly at the time.
Mhm.
Meg, right away, as soon as she saw it, 'cause she was standing there, and as soon as she saw that, she was like, "I'm gonna go into town and I'm gonna buy some ant spray. Bye," and just fucked off. But yeah,
Teamwork in marriage.
for me, I just like I finished sucking them all up with the shop vac, and then at the end, I think I was just like, I committed ant genocide. I was, really just dead out of it. And then when we got home, she found like one bug in the bathroom, and I just like walked up to it with like a piece of toilet paper, just
Yeah.
dropped it into the toilet. I was like,
Yes.
this doesn't phase me. I've seen the worst. I've seen
You
hell.
you are now a cold-blooded bug killer.
I'm a cold-blooded bug killer. I've killed thousands of bugs. And you can have that on record now. So, but I don't want to do that again. Oh my God, no.
So how long have you been married at this point?
Um, I do know this. It is 9 years. Are you trying to trick me there?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got married in 2017. So not 9 years. We've been together for 9 years, but we got married in 2017.
Hell
So
yeah, dude.
yeah, yeah, we met in 2011 in like November-ish at a Halloween party.
Mhm.
Pre, Tinder and all of that stuff, or maybe like it was just starting out or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, definitely in its infancy, and definitely more of like a hookup culture around the app.
Well,
Uh,
so I'd like to know more about that because I've never actually used it. But I thought that at the beginning it was supposed like people were using it more for actual relationships, and then it like transitioned into like this hookupy sort of thing.
so
Or has it always been hookupy?
I think from my perspective, Tinder was always just like the hookup thing, and then if you wanted to like use online dating to find a relationship, you would go to like something like eHarmony or like Plenty of
Christian
Fish or
Mingle.
Christian Mingle, yeah, Farmers
Yeah.
Only,
Yeah. Oh man.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, no. So we met in at a Halloween party. Nolan and Shaker were there because we were living together at the
yep.
time, and you know, yeah, we just basically actually. So I didn't. I feel bad, but like at the time I wasn't really paying attention because I was completely oblivious, and she like apparently really liked me.
Mhm.
So I just went home, being like, "Oh, that was a great party, whatever."
Yeah.
And then yeah, actually Andrea of Andrea and Fitsum fame,
Famously.
it was on her own for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she actually ended up talking to me because we were still friends a bit at the beginning of university, and she happened to have been uh, friends with Megan starting in first year because I think they went to the same residence together. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. And yeah, she was basically like, "Oh, like you should talk to Megan," and I was like, "Oh." So yeah, that's where that went. So yeah, that was nice, and then we just kind of hit it off, and it just really worked. I don't know.
You
Typically,
gotta
these,
love it when things just kind of click.
I'm all about when things just click. Yeah, I can't stand it when things are like slightly off or not really working.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it was really nice though. Like I feel like that's pretty lucky. Like I feel like I hit the jackpot for sure.
Well, again, congratulations
Thank
on a steady marriage.
steady marriage. Yeah, yeah, with complete with a dog and everything.
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream.
Like I said, classic.
Living the dream. Trying to get a house, maybe next year. Right now, we're kind of stuck though because I just started this new job like a
Mhm.
couple of months ago, and then she actually just started a business
Oh,
herself. Yeah, so she does pretty interesting work. She works with kids who have autism and other like sort of behavioral stuff,
mhm.
and she's a registered ABA therapist, where they're like applied behavioral analysis, and yeah, basically she helps these kids develop proper skills and all that stuff. So she decided to start her own
Sick.
practice, you would call it.
Yeah.
But apparently, when you're trying to get a mortgage, they don't really like it when you have just started a company and
Yeah.
you haven't proven income yet. So
So
we're
it's a
working
big
on
old
that.
liability, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Well, hope that takes off and becomes stable enough for you to get that mortgage and get a house.
yeah. Then we'll be really living the dream, right?
You gotta put up a fence around that house.
Definitely gonna paint it
White
white.
picket fence.
Maybe not. I like a natural cedar. I'm more of a natural cedar kind of guy. Yeah, and I definitely have plans. I picked up some interesting hobbies over the years. Well, I guess they're interesting to me, but
And that,
one of
yeah,
them
of course.
was gardening. So I don't
Hey.
have a yard. I live in like a townhouse,
Mhm.
but I do have a fairly large balcony. So I took up balcony gardening, and basically I'm like growing tomatoes and cucumbers and basil and all that stuff out on the
Nice.
balcony right now. Yeah, yeah.
What led you to exploring the world of gardening?
I have no idea. I think
It
I don't
just
know.
seemed like a thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had. I think my like number one hobby has always been, computer games, and that's always been something that I've been pretty passionate about. But
Mhm.
I think maybe it started about 3 years ago, and I sort of was like, you know what, I need to do something else as well. Like, I need to have an excuse to go outside and try something new. And I don't know. I think I had like this idea of just having like a little plant of basil in the kitchen, so we could like have that whenever we're cooking. And
Mhm.
then from there, I was like, oh, like this isn't actually difficult at all. I think I can do this. And I slowly just sort of collected some different pots and just put them out, and each year just kind of planted stuff and saw what would happen. Got into some YouTubers who like do gardening and stuff, and
Nice.
I don't know, it's nice. I like the ability to sort of grow my own food. It just like feels um, satisfying, I
Yeah,
guess. And
just like they did in the old days.
just like the olden days. Well, I'm prepping for the big end times. Got to be ready. That's why I'm getting a house, so I can dig a bunker. No,
Oh
I'll
yeah.
ask Marco to do the design for that as well.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm sure
No,
he'd be willing to help.
it is. It is. I don't know. It's nice. It's like a relaxing sort of thing you can do,
Mhm.
and doesn't take too much time. And then other than that, I think I also got into baking. I basically what I'm trying to say is that as soon as I got married, I became extremely domestic. Uh, yeah. So, but baking specifically bread, like I don't know. I don't really know how to bake cakes or anything like that. But I got my cousin was really into sourdough bread and like making
Mhm.
stuff from scratch, and I was like, "Fuck, that looks so good." So I want to make that, and I made my own like sourdough like culture.
Starter, yep.
Yeah, and from there, just kind of been making that ever since, off and on. I haven't done it in a long time, like a couple of months at least. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's always like a fun little
Just
thing.
every now and again, check in on it, make sure that the old brain still works and remembers how to do things.
Exactly. Like, can I do things with these hands and don't know? And it turns out I sort of can. Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
I can kill lots of ants. Yeah. What about you though? Have you gone anywhere or?
Ah,
I
yes. The most terrifying part of the show is when the questions come back on me. Um, I've generally stayed within Canada. I had a
Okay.
couple trips to like various parts of the United States.
Yeah, that's cool
Um,
too. That's fine. Where'd you go?
but I went to Chicago because I had friends down there.
Yeah.
One of those guys has become a big Trump guy, and I don't like that fact.
Ooh,
It
that's
it it, it hurts.
is
It hurts to
he gonna
see.
watch this podcast?
Yeah, probably not. Because you
Okay.
don't. So the great thing
Fuck
about
that
this
guy,
podcast is
man.
that like the audience for any given episode is generally like pretty narrow.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't
It's
have to
like
worry about like strangers seeing it for the most part. Just like who's googling Peter Murray and then watching an hour long chat with
everyone,
some guy.
I promise. As soon as you put me on here, it's just gonna yeah.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so
You're
I
probably gonna lose viewership after having um that's cool though. Chicago's a cool city.
oh
I
yeah.
actually haven't been there myself, but I definitely have plans to. Excuse me.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, so I went there for an anime convention, and then I went there to drive up to Iowa as a collective for a different anime convention, which is weird
Okay.
because I, as an individual, am actually not like huge into anime. Like I have some familiarity, but
Mhm.
it's not like a thing that I'm doing while like I don't have an episode on while I'm doing work or anything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I
strictly
don't
a gaming guy.
Yeah, yeah. Like in high school, I don't really remember you ever talking about that. I remember you talking about games, but not
Oh
like
yeah.
anime specifically, maybe like once in a while.
Mhm.
But well, I was gonna say, you had to have had a reason to go to Iowa because you wouldn't just go there to, you know. I mean, maybe you would.
I
You
wanted to
like
meet all the
potatoes.
swing voters.
You wanted to meet all the swing voters.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, your friend met one of them. I
Oh
guess
yeah, apparently.
it
Uh,
swung the wrong way. Yeah,
uh,
a lot of shit has happened,
oh
eh?
yeah.
Like, just, I mean, this is
It doesn't stop. It's a real roller coaster, and by roller coaster I mean just like a steady downward
it is,
slope.
yeah, or like it's that feeling. See, like going down is thrilling, going down is
Mhm.
fun. I feel like what it is, it's going up because you have this like existential
And
dread that
and
it's
then
like,
you just hope that the track continues at some
yeah,
point,
yeah,
doesn't just like abruptly end.
yeah. It's like going up really high, but not knowing if when it reaches the crest, there's more track after the. So yeah, no, yeah, it's that's crazy. A lot of stuff has
Oh
happened.
yeah.
I feel like everybody's just like getting tired of it all for sure. I mean, I know
Oh yeah.
I
Like
definitely like have
just reading through like various comments on, well, we'll just say Reddit. Like yeah, the fatigue is really set in, and people are just like wanting everything to just be over with.
yeah, for sure.
But to do that, they gotta make sure they vote this year, and
Yeah,
hope that
no
things
kidding.
aren't busted that
Maybe
prevent
pay
them from doing
attention this
so.
time and like figure out where you're supposed to vote. I mean, I
Oh yeah.
know that it's like kind of unfair because there's been all this like weird stuff where like voting centers are closed and people have to
Yep.
drive for like 200 miles to go somewhere, and it's just
And
like,
then like they're stifling mail-in measures by a
yeah.
lot of different
So
ways. It's just like a whole thing.
oh, it's yeah. I'm glad the border's closed.
Me
Maybe we can
too.
keep it that way.
I enjoy seeing the articles about like not enjoy. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the articles of like the people who are traveling to Alaska through BC and stuff
Oh,
that, go out of their way to just like make relations worse. It's insane
I'm
to me.
sure it's like, a minority, and like compared to how many Americans like would normally travel to Canada on a given time, it's probably pretty minuscule. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're just doing that. I feel like down there they have a different opinion or lack of respect, I guess, for maybe like science and rules and general human decency.
Sensibility.
I definitely like. Obviously, these are all just exaggerations
Yeah, of
because we're
course.
Canadian and we like to bust America's balls every once in a while.
But
Uh,
it's gotten to a point where like taking the high ground against America just feels bad. It feels like it feels more like picking on
it's
a
like kicking
defenseless
somebody who's
child.
already down. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I know. I definitely do my best to like kind of rein it in.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've definitely met like some really cool people. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I even met this guy when we were in uh, Napa Valley. This one morning, we were going to do this like basically it was a booze cruise where the first half of the day we would go to this place at like 6 in the morning, get on hot air balloons and like fly over the valley.
Oh wow.
Then we'd land and they gave us breakfast plus like really boozy mimosas.
Mhm.
And they were the kind where like, I don't know, if you go to like a fancy brunch restaurant here in Toronto or whatever, they'll give you a mimosa and it's like, 3/4 orange juice and like a splash of champagne. And over there, they do like all champagne to the brim, and then they put like three
Just a
drops of
single
orange
drop,
juice
yeah.
in it. They're like, it's for the color. I'm like, I like this place. I'm a fan of this place. Yeah, but anyway, we got picked up in the morning by this guy from Arkansas, and he was like talking to us, and he was like so thrilled that he found out that we were from Canada, and he even bursts out in the song, and he's like, "Oh, Canada, our friends and allies." Like, oh, you're a gem. You can come visit. You
What
can
a
come.
treat.
Yeah.
It,
So
it, it's it's always good to be reminded that
it's not
it's
all.
always it's always just a vocal minority.
Yeah, and like that guy was from Arkansas, so like I mean I don't really know where it is, but it sounds south-ish. It sounds south-ish or central-ish,
Yeah,
and probably not.
you could clearly visualize a strange looking man saying Arkansas at some point, and it's like,
Arkansas.
oh yeah, that gives me enough sense
Why
to
isn't it
know
Arkansas?
geographically.
Why? Just tell me. I don't know. You're from a weird state, so
Yep.
I'll give you some leeway. Yeah, yeah. That's more or less summary of everything that I've
Oh yeah.
been up to in the past 10 years. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you have more questions,
Yeah.
and I can ask you more questions too if you want.
Absolutely. You go ahead. Ask me anything. This is now an AMA.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think one thing that I was really thinking about was watching through some of the different episodes.
Mhm.
You were talking about how you were kind of doing it as like a self-improvement thing, like not just to meet up with people that you haven't spoken to in a while, which is
Yep.
always a great thing, but also just like you know personally trying to improve yourself as well. And I don't know, I feel like I've benefited from watching these podcasts too, because for me, I feel like, during that 10-year stint, and you've said the same thing, I think, in one of your podcasts where you had like a fairly large number of lows and,
Yeah.
maybe some coasts as well. And I definitely say I agree. That was pretty similar for me as well. So, for me, I think I went through like a period of time where I was really just like stressed out about, where I was going next, kind of thing.
Mhm.
I think it was just after I left the insurance company that you work at. And I was just like, fuck, man, like, what am I doing with my life? And I'm sure everybody else has all their shit together. And I mean, lots of people do.
Mhm.
But it was nice to like watch other people and how they were talking about, oh yeah, like I randomly went to Whistler or Banff or whatever for a year and like didn't really think about it. And we're just kind of figuring it out, and that's like definitely nice to hear that other people are doing that as
Oh yeah.
well.
It's absolutely comforting
It is,
to
right?
know.
Because when you're using social media or whatever, like especially Instagram, I think you're just looking at like this perfect image that
Mhm.
somebody's posting. And I mean, obviously it's cool to see what people are up to and stuff, but like, you have this, at least for me, I have this tendency to like be like, oh man, like how are these people going to all these cool places? I haven't been anywhere in a while. Like, why can't I do that? And, it makes you feel about, feel bad, feels
Mhm.
bad, man. But no, I think, yeah, I think that seeing this has been like a nice, comforting experience, and just kind of seeing where everybody else is at. You're like, okay, like I think I have things pretty well together too.
Yeah.
We're all just kind of sorting it out, right?
Mhm.
So I guess that's a really long way of going to my question for you. Yeah, how do you feel since starting this podcast and where you're at now? Like, how do you think it's kind of improved you, and how do you think you feel you might be changing or being affected by running this kind of podcast? Heavy question.
So at the start of the year, I actually had my housemates like pull me aside and just like ask me what I wanted to get done this year,
Mm.
because they're two very like sort of self-motivated people. And at the time, my answer was like legitimately, I just don't want to die this year, and then that'll be it.
Well, that's
Uh,
I mean, it's a good goal.
yeah, just a good easy bar to clear.
Yeah.
Um, and then they like really pressured me into like man, you aim higher
Yeah.
was basically the consensus.
Yeah.
Um, so I felt like taking stock of the things that I was doing.
Hmm.
I hadn't had like a creative outlet in a while.
Hmm.
So the last time I had like any sort of like artistic output was when I was doing improv in university.
Right.
Um, and then I planned to do improv classes uh, starting in March, and then COVID happened. So just like, okay, well,
Shit.
you know, get try to stick to the goal, the motivating factor behind the goal.
Right.
Do something creative.
Yeah.
And this podcast idea was something that I had for a while. And I figured, well, you know what? Everyone's at home anyways. I could just record through Zoom. It's
Mhm.
fine. It's gonna be good. Um, and yeah, I've through doing this, I've become slightly more confident in general conversation. As much as my stammering and stuttering and give these responses doesn't indicate it, I assure you it's there. Um,
You don't notice when you're having a conversation. So, keep that in mind.
yeah, and through feedback, I definitely feel like before I felt that like I wasn't really like any force in this world. I was just like, a drone in the machine, as it were. Um,
That's like the dark times you were talking about before.
yeah, pretty much. Just like
Like
get up, go to work, do stuff, and then it was rarely ever for like myself or anything.
yeah.
I just didn't like. Uh, a lot of people are just like, when I die, I don't want to be forgotten. But it was just like, yeah, if I die, I die. That was
Right.
my mentality. But
Yeah.
like the feedback from people sliding into my DMs for the first time ever, of just like, you know, being thankful that I'm doing this. I'm just like, oh, well, now I feel like I have like some kind of purpose,
Hmm.
and that's been fantastic, mentally.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, because like I said, there are those sort of aimless years where you just kind of do whatever, and uh, during quarantine, I started listening to this guy give these talks on Healthy Gamer GG on Twitch.
Hmm.
I mentioned it a couple times, but very much sort of merging Western and Eastern sort of medicine and spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And an important concept is dharma, which
Dharma
is Sanskrit for duty.
duty.
And basically, you know, a lot of people in my situation, the gamers,
My situation
uh, they,
too.
they, they have that same sort of experience where it's just like, well, I'm gonna play video games because like I don't have anything else to do. Like nothing's really demanding my attention.
Right.
So I'm just gonna sit idle and pass the time.
Yeah.
But the thing about like your life's duty, your dharma, is that you don't look for it, it finds you. And I guess that is kind of what happened with this.
That's really cool. That's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, for me, like been to counseling a couple of times as well, just for the same sort of reasons. But like they'll say things that are similar to that, and I think it's kind of about like, at least for me, it depends on the person. But like for me, I discovered that like the times where I wasn't really feeling like I was accomplishing a lot, or you know uh, having any sort of purpose or forward drive, that was like where I was at my low.
Mhm.
And I definitely put like a lot of pressure on myself, and like um, pressure on just the idea of like, oh, okay, I need to have a job, I need to be like pretty successful and like doing something important.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely like eye opening to sort of learn that about myself,
Mhm.
and just kind of keep an active eye on it. So it's not just that too. It's like, okay, trying to like do something to supplement what I already do. So like playing games, still something that I totally love doing all the time. You can't replace the amazing time waste that is game. That's for sure. And I mean, I think you mentioned in your previous podcast, like you sort of switched to playing games to mostly talk to other people
Mhm.
now, as opposed to playing single player games. And I think that's totally true, because like, you can like play single player games and it's great. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh yeah.
But like, if you're worried about your own accomplishments, I was thinking like, okay, this is cool. I like defeated this boss, but like nobody fucking knows or
Yeah.
cares that I did that except me. So when you're able to spend more time productive time gaming, and like talking to friends, keeping that relationship going, I think it's like just such a great outlet. But like for me, I also needed to kind of add some other stuff on that. So like, last year, for basically a whole year, I paid for personal training, which is something that I thought I would never do,
Mm.
because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm a meathead, I'm gonna and like drink protein shakes, and I'm gonna blend up a whole chicken breast and put it and eat that for breakfast. Yeah, no. But I didn't really go there and I told the like trainer this. I was like, I'm not really here to like become fucking massive. I'm just
Mhm.
here to like be a little bit
Better.
healthier, sort
Yeah.
of develop some like habits. So yeah, and I think that like that was like my like top level was mentally, was when I was doing that like on a semi regular basis. And I
Mhm.
mean, I would even only do it like 2 times a week for maybe 45 minutes at certain times. But like just in general, like just kind of going for a walk for 10 minutes in the middle of the day when you're like sitting at the computer working for 8 hours a day
Yeah.
during the quarantine. I feel like I've been trying to do that since I can't really go to the gym. I mean, I don't really want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
They're open,
It's a
but
terrifying thing.
they're like, I got this email from them and they were like, yeah, so the gym's open again. So you're welcome to come in. You just have to wear your masks when you go inside. And then when you sit down at a machine and you start to do really tough workouts, you can just take your mask off. And I'm like, so you're
No.
telling me that that you're saying it's safe to go into a gym and sit next to a guy on a bench press who has his mask off and he's going, I'm like, that guy is spraying water bottles.
Everywhere.
I'm not interested in doing
Unless
that.
you have like a tent in enclosing every piece of equipment that someone might need for a set.
Yeah,
Get
which
me out of
no,
there.
you definitely don't. It's
Keep your
LA,
damn mask on.
not like it's a super fancy place. There's like this super fancy place on Iron Needles that has like a ridiculous price, but it is nice in there. And I'm sure they
Movati.
Movati.
Yeah.
I bet you they have those like glass pods in it on every machine. That's not the case at LA Fitness, and it ever will. Um, but yeah, no. So like just kind of doing that a bit, adding that, and making that a sort of semi hobby, not
Mhm.
not a crazy one, but just like doing. I mean, lately I've just been kind of going for a walk. It's great to have a
Oh yeah.
dog, forces you to do that, and then yeah, just kind of doing the gardening every once in a while. And I feel like doing that kind of stuff while focusing on just like having a basic goal, but not putting too much pressure on yourself,
Mhm.
definitely has helped me sort of get out of that rut. And so that's where I'm at right now mentally. Like, and I think it's been a pretty good journey, and I've learned a lot over the past 10 years for sure.
Mhm.
which I feel like is the case for most people, right? Like 10
Yeah.
years ago, we were what, 18, and now we're 28, like we're almost 30. And
Oh God.
I
Oh
know,
God.
no, this is a, Chris, this is a real podcast conversation right here. Like this
Yeah.
is real, the
We're
real,
getting old, dude.
I like to dig deep. I like to dig real deep.
Oh, it hurts.
That's good. Cause
My
yeah, like,
bones are creaking. As we speak, I can hear them.
yeah, well, I mean, my back is just not what it used to be, but
Hmm.
that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And that's also the way the spine crumbles. Give it another 10 years. But yeah, no, that's really good to hear that it's been like a really positive outcome for you.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, hopefully, you've been able to kind of get yourself out of those ruts and sort of see like a positive
Yep.
forward momentum for you. That sounds really good.
It's surprisingly a good year, all things considered.
Yeah, I was gonna say that about myself because, I think where I'm currently working is probably the place that I've enjoyed the most. I
Hmm.
find that for me, the work itself, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, as long as I'm like stimulated mentally,
Yeah,
but like it's more about like the people who I'm working with.
for sure.
And I don't know. It's been really weird because I started this job in May, right in the middle of the pandemic, and I only just got a chance to meet my coworkers in the flesh like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
So that was really weird. It
Bit
was
of
like
a
my
bit of a
first
bar night
day.
with the coworkers after work.
Oh, I wish, but no, it was more like a meetup at Waterloo Park
Uh,
because most of them are local.
One
And
sec. There
yeah,
are some dogs outside that are going absolutely mental.
oh, don't worry. Hey, everybody watching on YouTube. Are you gonna cut that part out?
No, that all stays in.
Okay, great.
I've only ever edited the video footage once, and that
Mhm.
is because I had to like my internet like cut out, and frankly, I'm surprised that it's only happened once. But my
I'm
internet cut
surprised
out,
it
so
hasn't happened
I
at
had to
all
stitch. Yeah,
for
I had to,
us.
I had to stitch together like two different video files. Just like, well, may as well add a fun little bit here where we're gonna
Put
insert
on the
a
what's that
classic
song again?
technical difficulty screen.
What's that song again? It's like Spanish Flea. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
we
the
put
one.
that on. Yeah, that was great.
I enjoyed uploading the video to YouTube and then getting like a DMCA notice, just like, oh, right. I guess I'm not allowed to like just kind of use this without
Did you like have
notifying
to
anything.
download it or something? I don't know how that works.
It's basically just like I can't run ads on the video, which I was doing anyway, so that's fine.
Oh, then who cares? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
easy.
But yeah, no, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're kind of out of that, and I'm glad I'm out of it too. And
Yeah,
yeah, oh,
happy
yeah,
for you,
we were
man.
talking about how like this year somehow it's been better, and like yeah, I think just meeting with those people and like having a really good sort of vibe, good relationship with all these people I work with has really made it like a pretty rewarding sort of day to day
Mhm.
experience because I typically am of the mindset of like working to live, versus living for work. So being able to have some interesting conversations and hilarious chats on the side, helps. And yeah, the fact that like Meg started up this business as well during this quarantine and it's going pretty well. Yeah, I'd say like we've been able to ride it out. I know that we're pretty in a privileged position to have that happen, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a good year, oddly enough.
Do you find that the your coworkers currently like skew more towards your age? Because I know at Allianz, god damn, I feel like I'm just working with a bunch of boomers.
I know. Well, that's the thing
I
about
also
insurance.
just said the name of the insurance company to bleep that out now. More
Oh, there it
homework.
is. Bleep.
Damn it.
Um,
Uh,
uh, yeah. So I guess I shouldn't say the name any more
yeah,
time. Then you have to do a lot of extra editing, right?
yeah.
I won't do that to you.
Like the more we
Uh,
say Allianz, the more I have to bleep Allianz.
oh, Allianz, what a place. All right, awesome.
Uh,
But yeah, no, that's totally true, and that's just insurance companies, right? Like,
mm,
it definitely has an older demographic.
yeah.
The place that I worked at, big company. Again, everybody just do your homework and look on LinkedIn. But yeah, that was the team that I was working on. It had like the average age was like 35,
Mm,
but that's because there was one person who was 19, and then there was me, and then there was another person who was like 30, and then everyone else was like between 40 and 60, and they
Oh
all had
wow.
kids. And it was a weird experience because it was like nice to hang out with them and stuff at work, but they were never down to sort of develop it any further than that. They were like, "Oh
Mhm.
no, I have kids. I can't like go and have some drinks or whatever after work." And so it's been nice to kind of have a bit more in common with the people I'm currently working with. That said, the average age I think are definitely younger than me. Like I'm actually one of the older people on the
Oh
team.
yeah.
Um, you know, yeah, I
But
think
you're
because
still with it. You're hip.
I'm hip, I'm cool. I know what the kids are doing. I mean, Megan has TikTok and I don't, but she's been showing me like the best ones that she can find. I mean, there's some pretty hilarious stuff on there.
Oh yeah.
But so I know what the kids are up to. I'm keeping a pulse on that. But yeah, no, they're like there's some people who are like 19, some people are 20, and
Wow.
they're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm turning 20 this year, and I'm like, I just turned 28, like little asshole. Shut up. There is one guy who's really hilarious, and he's also like 40, and he's just kind of, but he's got like the soul. He's got like my soul. So it's a really interesting group of people, that's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, you've got like a lot of older people. You're just like the youngest person there,
Yeah. They, they,
somewhat.
they've sent, I've received emails that get sent to like the work distro list to be like, here's something to brighten your day. And it's just like a Minions meme, but like a
Yeah,
bad Minions meme that,
yeah. I
older
mean, I
people
feel like
have.
can we say that like at this point in 2020, all minion memes are bad? Can we say that?
If you like deep fry a Minions meme real good and just have like just this absolutely surrealist take on it, I'll still enjoy it. But
Like a Gen Z meme.
yeah,
All their memes are super deep fried and
yeah,
super surreal, and they're weird.
God, I love it so much.
They are fun though to read. Fun to read, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to do like Zoom calls for your work, or is it more because
We
like you're going through the and processing
mhm.
these, I guess claims, but I just from what I remember in that system, it was more just about manually like looking at documents, comparing it to what the requirements were, and all that stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. We had a team huddle this morning because there was like news regarding people and whether or not they were still working with the company. But it's
It's
still
completely
like you,
different company.
it's
I'm
still
showing
like a Skype using company. I'm just like, man,
really
there are like so many better different
platform.
softwares we could use for this platform.
Yeah, yeah,
Things that have like a persistent group and chat history
yeah.
or
Maybe something where you don't have to use the function keys to navigate the system to enter
I'm
notes.
oddly fine with that.
Are you? Yeah.
They did start to implement like measures that use that as like the core and then kind of mold new software around it.
Okay.
Uh, they've they tried implementing an entirely new system when I was still in the mailroom, and
Mm,
so I was like the subject matter expert and like doing testing and stuff. Just like, okay, conceptually, I like the way the software should work.
mm.
It just never did.
Oh,
After like a year and change of development, I'm just like, well, they're scrapping it. I was like, no,
oh my God.
back to the old like IBM software or whatever. It's actually
Yeah, a classic, good old IBM stuff. Yeah.
just like black screen and green text.
Hooray!
Love
Yeah,
it.
this is great for my eyes long term. Thank
Oh
you
yeah.
for implementing this color scheme. Oh man. Yeah,
uh,
well, I'm actually surprised. I was thinking about this earlier with just all the talk about video games and all that stuff, that I don't have you on Steam. I don't know why.
I feel
Oddly,
like I do have you on Steam.
you do?
Like I will look at it now. I'm pretty sure I've seen like the toast notifications, just like Peter or whatever your handle maybe is.
Maybe I don't recognize your handle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, mine is. It was formerly Jeffrey Character Wheaties. It is now just like the sort of shrug.
Oh,
Yeah, that's me.
okay. I thought this whole time I thought that that was Marco. So I've had
Uh,
Marco written next to that, and
time to make a change.
now it's time to. Now that I know it's you, because I mean, yeah, Marco. I don't know.
That
I,
guy gave up gaming a while ago.
yeah, no,
It hurts to lose one, but
yeah, no, they're always that's always sad. He was a cool guy in high school, but yeah, I
he,
guess
for what it's worth, he's an even cooler guy now. So that's the
well, that
trade-off.
is solid. Yeah, that is solid.
Dude's brother bought like a jet ski.
Man, that's
Cool, just
that's
cool shit.
oh, that is so cool. Did you go on it at all?
No, so actually, I don't know how to swim, but I did go like boating with them when they brought it up to Conestoga Lake.
Mhm,
I was never brave enough to just like ride passenger on a jet ski or like try using the wakeboard, which they've really taken to. I'm
mhm.
a big fan of the giant inflatable donut
Oh yeah,
because
just float.
that's just like I'm staying above the water almost the entire time. And I
Yeah,
say
for
almost the
sure.
entire time because there was one time where the wake left by the boat was like steep enough that when the donut came down the other side, it like got caught up by another wake. It was just like under the water temporarily.
Ooh,
And me being like not a big water guy, just kind of panicked and let go of the donut, which is the bad thing to do. Just hold on for dear life next time.
mhm.
But yeah, I
Just a
started
classic
flailing.
flounder. Yeah.
I was just like, well, this is how I die.
Oh,
um,
jeez.
but luckily, I got bailed out by some people who were more experienced in
In the
the yeah
water
the
world
water
of
sports.
water. Damn. Yeah. Are you like afraid of the water in general, or is
I'm
it more?
not afraid of it, but like swimming was never something that my parents made me learn how to do, so I just never did it because it's just like, well, I'm not near water most of the time, and
Yeah.
you know, if I ever like have to be near water, there's like flotation devices and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Have
the
put like
the
three
the
life
flotation
jackets on.
devices alone, like a life jacket alone, was just like, oh, I still have to like do at least a little bit of work to do to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Either that, or it's just like, well, I'm uncomfortably like below the the meniscus of this lake, where it's just like up to my neck. I'm just like,
Meniscus.
am I gonna go down further?
Oh my God.
There's like this uncertainty that I never had to experience before, and now I know how it works more or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No, I'm. That's one thing I'm really glad my parents put me in swimming lessons when I was younger because there's no way in hell I would go into one of those pools now. Like I even when I was a kid and I was like learning how to swim, I remember distinctly this one time where I was just floating there in the circle with our, the lifeguard person, and then like some just like poop just like floated by
good
the
God.
surface of the water, and I was like, look. And the lifeguard person just like looks over and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." So everybody get out of the water, like just dead in the eyes. And I was like, "Oh man,
This is not the first, not the last.
yeah." And so just learning to swim in that, no thanks. I would never do that as an adult. So I do not blame you.
Kids are disgusting.
Kids are so gross, man. Oh yeah. It's funny you said meniscus. That threw me back to like grade 12 chemistry.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, anything else, you've been kind of up to or feeling like asking me about?
Yeah. We like to have structure to the show. I just realized that like I have to have the regular questions open, but
Oh,
I know
sorry.
them off by heart at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so you've already talked about some things you're passionate about, gardening, baking, stuff like that. So we're just gonna forego that one. Um,
Okay.
actually, what time is it? Oh,
It's 7:09.
we're going
Crap.
deep.
Man, that went by so quick.
Hopefully you didn't have to. You're not in a rush to be somewhere else, but
Oh no, I'm not. I could keep talking just until
perfect.
we're done.
I remember another episode that I did where it was just like, oh, this recording went 2 hours.
2 hours.
That is
Wow.
too long because especially since like it's hard to be on recording and be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh yeah, maybe
Um,
we'll like call it at 1.5 if we
oh
go
yeah, for sure.
at that time.
The hard cutoffs from now
Yeah.
on. But Peter,
Yeah. Chris.
if you were to host your own version of this show where you reconnect with an old friend, who is someone you would like to have on?
I know, I've been regretting this question because I don't have an answer. I don't
It's
know.
coming up every time.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I feel really, you know, blessed, I guess, that I've been in touch with most of the people who I was already friends with
Mhm.
in high school. Like, I went to university with the same group of people, like Sam, Liam, Mark, Cheka, Akram, Najim, Nolan. I hope that the people I didn't mention don't get mad at me, but I'm just trying to keep the pace going in
Yeah,
this conversation. Yeah, so I don't really think I've missed out too much, although I do
Mhm.
regret not talking to you more, and I think that after this call we'll definitely be in touch a
Oh,
lot
for
more.
sure.
Um,
Now that we are familiar with each other's Steam IDs
yes,
on a
exactly.
mutual
That's the
level,
key thing. That's
it
the
becomes
key
much
thing.
easier.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I think, I might just suggest more people to put on this show more just because I'm interested to hear about what they've done, in the past 10 years, even though I've been in contact with them.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're in contact with somebody and you just keep kind of things rolling.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Or
you,
like you meet up in a group scenario and it's like, well, I'm not gonna take you aside and like have an intimate one-on-one conversation.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess, so, I mean, I think for me, the question would be like, who would you want to put on that you been in contact with for these past 10 years? And I'd probably say like Najim, because that guy's very secretive. And I want to know what
There's
he's
been
been.
a lot of demand for Najim and
I think a lot of people are like, this guy's an enigma. I don't know what he's doing. He's done some interesting, he's done some funny things like lately.
handstands all over the world.
Oh yeah, handstands all over the world. And I just want to hear him talk about that and where that kind of came about. And during the quarantine, while like I was in my house working,
Mhm.
he did this thing where he went to a bunch of different people's houses and just like biked there, took a selfie in front of their house, and then just biked away. Dude, I was right there. Like, why didn't you say hi? So yeah, I want to know what's going on in that guy's head. That's who I'd bring on.
Najim, why do you know so many people's addresses? First and foremost,
Eugene,
what do
why
you
do you
intend to do with this
have that address?
information?
And why are you not saying hello? Why are you just taking? I,
Ring the
I'm
door.
I'm good
Ring
job
the
biking
doorbell.
everywhere. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. So that's who I'd probably bring on. Maybe him.
Sick. I'll,
Um,
I'll, 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 I'll definitely accept any list of like people like demand guests, like in
and
demand
yeah,
guests. That's
yeah. I mean, I think my top four would be. Oh, okay. I'll say five. I'd probably say like Akram and Najim, just because I'd like to know a bit more about what they're doing because like I've been in contact with
those
them.
are two just enigma men.
They're enigma men. They're exactly. And they have interesting things that they're doing. I'm sure. I just don't really hear about it because we're
Mhm.
just more like, oh hey, let's like go hang out or talk on Zoom or whatever, or let's play Jackbox. And then the others that probably say you should probably get Fitsum on here because
Yep.
he is doing a lot of interesting stuff. I actually just hung out with him and Andrea yesterday night, and just like I don't know, every time I chat with that guy, there's always something new and interesting that I learn, and he's doing something that I don't think a lot of people we know are doing, where he's like in a sort of like journalism route, but he's
Mhm.
writing pieces that are like
Community pieces.
for the like wider media, and he wants to kind of dig deep and talk about things that are pretty important. So,
Mhm.
you know, I think it'd be pretty cool to get him on, even just to like get his voice out there another way, because like he's doing a lot of cool stuff for like BLM and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So
And then,
so
oh
I
yeah,
will say one thing about getting Fitsum on is
yeah,
that like I always like I've known that I want to have Fitsum on for a while, but I also
yeah.
just feel like he's doing so much that like A, he's either really just busy all the time and and B, any time that he spends doing this is time that he's not spending doing that other stuff, which is like, oh God.
I get your point, but like if you just schedule it ahead of time, I think he would love to come on and
Mhm.
just like reconnect. And like I was actually talking to him about this yesterday. I was telling him like, oh, I'm doing this podcast tomorrow, and he's like, oh yeah, like I didn't really know Chris too much in high school, but after high school we had this like online relationship. So I
Yeah.
don't know. He really
It was strictly the foundation of my friendship with Fitsum is just like we both enjoyed Kanye a lot. Now, obviously,
yeah.
Kanye has gone off a bit of a
He's done some interesting
he,
things.
he's
You should get Kanye on 10-year anniversary. What did Kanye do in 2018 or not 2018, 2010
yeah.
to 2020? Yeah, that'll be a big one. But maybe we'll aim for that for the far future. But yeah, no, you should totally get him on. I think he would have like a lot of interesting conversation topics. And honestly, like he's also big into like seeing friends and stuff. And I'm
Mhm.
sure he'd be totally happy to spare some time to talk for sure.
All right, this has
Do it.
emboldened me. I'm gonna conjure up the courage to just go for it.
You can do it. And also, I know that he's going to watch this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
So you'll have like a warning. He'll have a warning. And then, yeah,
Actually, here I'll do it this way. Fitsum. When you hear this or see this, just
I'm
DM
looking
me.
right at
Yeah,
the
just
yeah,
DM me.
DM.
We'll make it work immediately.
Yeah, talk
Just
to this
just
guy.
just let me know. Let me know.
This guy right here. That's the guy you're gonna talk to. Yeah.
Oh
And then yeah, other than Fitsum, I'd probably say you got to talk to like Sam and Liam because yeah,
yeah.
Liam's done interesting stuff. He's worked as archaeologist,
Yep.
digging up
That's the
digging
one
up.
thing I remember about Liam.
Yep, and that's the main thing. I mean, he's does a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, like I just think that's really cool, really interesting. And then yeah, Sam because he's been out in Europe, he's met a lot of
He
people.
went there like immediately after high school, right? Or maybe he did one
Um,
year at UW.
I think it was yeah, I think he did a year at Laurier.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then
Something along those lines.
yeah, so he went out there, which sucked, but we worked around it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool to like hear him on here as well and hear what he's been up to from his perspective. So yeah, lots of you got a list. You got a
Oh
big
yeah.
list of
It's piling up. Just got to make sure that every one of these is going to be a banger.
yeah, they're gonna be a banger. Those guys are bangers, for sure. Don't worry. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you had mentioned briefly in passing Jackbox. What's your favorite Jackbox game?
Ooh. I really like that murder quiz one where you're like in a hotel. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm good at it. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Um, but the other ones, okay, I do like the one where you can write jokes as well.
Quiplash?
Yeah, Quiplash. And then the
Yeah.
last one that I really like, and I don't know if these are all in the same pack or not, but the one that I really liked was, um, oh yeah, so it's where you design T-shirts.
T-shirts? Yeah.
Yes. So I got pretty, we'll just say blazed with Megan's cousin, and we basically just like played that game, and just the funniest. I thought it was hilarious, just like the ideas we came up with for T-shirt designs.
It's
Maybe that
amazing
was
how
the
much
one-off experience. Maybe
yeah,
it's not actually that great, but I had a great time.
it is it is amazing how like just in isolation the things that you may write down or draw aren't like that funny, but in combination it just works
It
much
worked.
more than the sum of its parts.
It works. Like there was one where somebody drew like a donut, like a
Mhm.
really nice like Homer Simpson donut, just
Mhm.
in the middle of the t-shirt, nothing else. And then somebody decided that the caption would just be fuck, period.
And it
I don't
just
know.
it just hits
It just
and no
hit.
one's sure why.
Yeah. It was just surreal. So yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird time as well. Like there's been lots of good experiences. I know I'm like rambling talking about like my
Perfectly
past
fine.
past 10 years. There's been like some good experiences, lots of good experiences. And I've really appreciated being married because I found that for me, like she really forces me to kind of do things. So like the reason that those trips all happened for me were definitely because of her and her like planning. She's more of that like type A type of person.
Mhm.
So that just kind of really works. But yeah, there's been some like in worse times, like a couple of people who just kind of like passed away from old age and that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So, but you just kind of keep going and you
Oh yeah,
keep.
that's a cycle of life.
It's a circle of life. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like
Uh,
I've got other things to talk about, but maybe just for now, maybe I will think of more things to talk about and we'll DM later. But
for sure.
yeah.
Um, I
Oh, I
think.
was going to ask you
Oh,
too.
good.
Like, what games are you playing right now?
So I'm playing a lot of Valorant,
All right,
which
I
is
heard.
the Riot Games tactical shooter.
Mhm.
Monster Train, which is
Awesome.
a roguelike deck building game.
Oh, that's not at
Which
all what I pictured, but
it,
okay.
it is the only sort of single player genre other than like a tactics, like turn-based tactics game that
Yeah.
I will play. Like single player RPGs like Zelda and stuff, for some reason I just like can't get into. But like
There's
just give me a puzzle and I'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll do this for 9 hours a day. Why not?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like I haven't been able to finish The Witcher 3. I finished like the main story, but there's just like another 100 hours of content. And I was just
Oh
like,
yeah, just like small side quests
yeah, I
everywhere.
can't do it. I can't ever finish Bethesda games anymore. I just can't do it. But like, if you like dungeon building stuff, I know that you also talked a lot about board games with, Jake and Mark.
Yep.
One game that we've been really into is, and it is a dungeon building sort of game, is just 5 minute dungeons. If
Mm,
you've heard of that.
I've not.
Okay, it's really cool. So basically, it's a card game. You can pick like your character. You'll have different abilities and stuff, but you draw it at random, and you have to. There's like a boss. There's a pile of boss cards,
Mhm.
and your abilities. You have to match icons with what the icons are that will defeat the boss on that boss card. But you get them at random. So it's like you have to rely on other people. You're cooperatively trying to defeat the boss together by laying down things that will defeat it.
Mhm.
And there's like different special cards you can use to like defeat certain bosses or whatever. And it's a lot of fun. And you have to try to beat it within a 5 minute timer, like the whole every
Yeah.
single boss to the end. And you can choose all the
And that's
different
where we get the
abilities.
name. Oh my
It's
god.
exactly. They think of these things. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You can get like honest trailers, like the epic voice guy. You
Yeah.
can get him on like you get an app and it'll like
Oh,
have
nice.
different voices that'll count down and talk you through it. So it's a lot of fun. Ooh, you were speaking
Train.
of dogs, but there's a train. Yeah,
Choo choo.
I live next to a train track. It's glad
How's
that
that? How's that living?
it's all right. It's actually okay. I mean, trains are kind of interesting. I'm not like a Sheldon where I'm like, oh my god, trains are so cool.
Mhm.
But they're all right. There's a big berm behind me, so it's not too loud. It's not terrible.
Between saying that you live near a train track and also the allusion to LA Fitness earlier, I
Mm.
have a rough idea of where you live.
Yeah, I feel like you can now pinpoint my
Yeah,
exact location.
I'm
Well,
gonna I'm
actually, you
gonna
said,
I'm gonna bike up there. I'm gonna take a photo, and then I'm gonna
dude,
leave.
I think I could get to your house in like 2 minutes because I think you said you live on like Highland and Weaver. No,
Ottawa.
Highland and Ottawa. That's not far from me at all. I'm really close to Highland and Belmont. Like I'm
Ah,
I'm I'm like right next to Belmont Village. So yeah.
have you been like patio dining during like as things open up down there?
Yeah, I actually have. I think once they announced that it was okay to do so, we basically just jumped on that and got into it immediately. But there's some
Smart.
really cool places just like near my house. Like there's a really cool restaurant patio bar called Graffiti,
Hmm.
and we like going there. They have some really good like Detroit style deep dish pizza.
Nice.
So it's not like Chicago style. It's like thicker crust, less sauce, I guess.
Yeah.
I prefer it. And then there's Arabella, also on Belmont, which
Yep.
is like yeah, you've been there,
I'd been meaning to go to Graffiti Market for a while. I was actually up by the Catalyst building.
Mhm.
I want to say a week ago.
Yeah,
Actually, even shorter than a week. It was like Friday or something.
yeah, they've
But
got
I'd
good
already
stuff.
eaten and
Yeah,
was not about to
that's
have a second dinner.
oh, the great tragedy. I
Yeah,
see a great restaurant and I've already eaten. Ah, shit.
just got to mark it down and circle back later.
You know what? Maybe I'll just try and do a double. That's cool. Yeah, no, I've been dining a little bit. I went so they have a pretty big patio, so I'll go. We've been there 2 times. Nolan came up to visit with his girlfriend Marcy for my birthday, actually,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
Aw.
Yeah, it was nice. And then other than that, doing Arabella stuff. So they don't have a oh, they do have a patio, but it's not open right now. So what they've been doing instead is just the orders, and you just go in and pick up, and they have such good burgers, man. I can't stress enough how good their burgers are. They're great. So I highly
Nice.
recommend that. They do like smash burgers.
Yep. Get
Um,
that nice crust on everything on the meat. Mm.
it's good. It's solid. Other than that, not too much. I think for us, we both really like to cook, so we'll just kind of do what we feel like. Lately, we've been doing a lot of meal planning and long-term prepping.
Mm.
So our freezer's just full of a bunch of like pre-made stuff that we did. We just hammered out one day. But yeah, food, love it.
Just feeling super adult.
Super adult. I know. Am I? I hope I'm not making bad for like being like I got food, I got meals planned. Because you know what? When you have meals planned, you can't go out because you're like, oh, well, I have a meal at home, and
Mhm.
so I don't get to eat out.
It's a classic thing that your parents would tell you. It's like, can we go to McDonald's? No, we have food at home.
Yeah, I know. It's been instilled in me now, and I kind of hate it. Still, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Yeah. Um. Oh, and then yeah, proof. Proof is like a if you know where it is or if you don't.
I feel like I've heard of it. It's the Concept Kitchen, right? By like uh
It's
it's like over by the shops or whatever, in like the barrel
sort of.
yards kind of.
Yeah, so you know, like the Delta Hotel right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
They have that's like their bar restaurant, and they have a pretty nice patio. It's not huge, but they have really good food there. They have like a Korean barbecue burger.
Damn.
That's what I got when I was talking to Cheka when he told me about this podcast, and that is some good stuff. They put like kimchi in it and everything. It's great.
Damn, that's sick.
I made my own kimchi like
Ooh.
a couple of months ago. Yeah,
Did you grow the vegetables yourself?
I did not grow the vegetables myself.
You
No,
can't
but
grow a whole cabbage on a
just
windowsill.
on a whim. No, I don't have that magic power. But yeah, no. Well, it's because I lived in Korea when I was really young.
Ah, did
From
not know that about you.
Yeah, there you go. Hot little fact. But yeah, so I lived there when I was really young, like 1 till age 4.
Mhm.
Uh,
Barely conscious of the outside world.
I don't remember, but you know what I do remember is eating kimchi. Even when I was that young, like I ate some, and I just loved it, even though it was super spicy. So I think that's why I can attribute my like slightly higher than the average white dude's like
Spice
tolerance.
tolerance.
Yeah, so I don't know, I was feeling the nostalgia kick one day and I just decided to make it. So I went down to that like Korean grocery store really close to like Victoria and King,
King. Yep.
Victoria and King. I can't remember the name of the store, but yeah, I
But the
bought like
peak the locals know. The
yeah,
locals
the
know.
locals know. And I bought like that specific like red pepper spice.
Mhm.
I said gochugaru? I can't remember what it's called. Might be that. And then like, the specific like Chinese cabbage and all that stuff. And then yeah, it's actually easier to do than you might think. It
Mm.
just takes patience.
Mm.
Yeah, you're not all about that.
I'll
Well, you
get
know
back
what?
to you on that later.
If you go to that store, I don't know if you like kimchi or not, but if you go to that store, they also just have like a giant vat just like going, so
Hell yeah.
you can just get some.
That's my speed. I
That's
demand immediate satisfaction.
Well, you will have it if you go there. I hope they're still open. I hope they made it through the pandemic. That's the one thing I'm the most sad about with the pandemic
Oh
is
yeah, just like a bunch of places closed down.
so many and
It's a
lots of great
shame.
restaurants and stores and stuff. But
I don't know where I'm gonna go do karaoke now that the chainsaw's gone.
the chainsaw's gone.
Yeah,
Shit. Wow. End of an era.
guess I'm just stuck doing Twitch things. Yeah, we're gonna pour one out for
Karaoke
chainsaw.
duets. Yeah, let's do it. You and me. I don't. Do you have to pay for that?
No, it's free and it is being discontinued in January. So the
Okay.
clock's ticking, Peter. We gotta hop on that.
All right. We'll sort it out maybe after this
All right.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's hash out those details off the pod and
off the
uh,
pod.
yeah,
But I feel like we're
just
probably
shuffle off and
running
get
out.
to that immediately.
Yeah, like
But
we're
I
running
like
low on time here.
Oh yeah, but I do like to give my guests an opportunity at the end of every episode
Mm.
to plug anything that they care about or that they themselves are doing. I don't know why those would be not in alignment, but sometimes people do things like that.
Oh yeah,
But Peter, anything that you wanna share with the world at this time?
the world. Hello world. Hi. Uh, I don't know. I think not really. Like I think maybe what I will say is just like if you're feeling down or if you're feeling cooped up or whatever, just like try to do like a 10-minute walk outside every day if you can. And I feel like that even just something like that, super easy, really helps. Um, if you have friends who need help mental health wise, talk about it. It's always better to talk about it than let it fester. Other than that, yeah, stay safe, everybody.
Right on. You heard it here.
Heard it here first.
Talk to people.
The classic outro. Do you have
With
an outro song now ready to go? I know Chaka suggested you get some kind of outro going.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had a couple of days.
I've had some time to think about it. I did say that I was gonna just like have the ending line from the song, but when I listened to it after like splicing that in, like tacking that on at the end, I'm just like, this just sounds jarring.
Ooh. Well,
So
you know what?
I
Since I'll do you a favor. Since the beginning of this episode, I said that you played a Britney Spears song, not Britney
Spice Girls
Spears, Spice
actually.
Girls. So because you've already played
I get
that,
to do my
now you can
regular
play
theme
the
song.
original theme song as the outro. Yeah, let's
Thank
just do
God.
that.
All right, I need to go look up Spice Girls songs and figure out which one is most
Which
appropriate
one?
for this. But Peter, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
man.
this talk.
It
It
was
was
a pleasure.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was great to
Uh,
hang out, great to chat.
let's go to Catalyst on Friday or something.
Yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's do it.
But yeah, on that, from everybody here at Hello We Don't Talk Let's Talk, all one employees that I have,
Mhm.
thank you so much for listening, and have yourselves a wonderful day.
Good night, world.